Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Mayor of the Borough of Bracknell Forest, Councillor Anka Bandari.
Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to this hybrid special council meeting. Please note that I am waiving the requirement within the council procedure rules which requires members to stand when addressing the meeting. Please remain seated. The meeting is being broadcast and recorded. If there are any technical issues, please bear with us. I declare the meeting open. Now, to the first item on the agenda. Are there any apologies for absence?
Mr. Mayor, I've received apologies from Councillors Angel, Atkinson, Brown, Dudley, no, sorry, not Dudley, Councillor Hayden, Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Kirk, Councillor Mrs. Mackenzie, Councillor McLean, Councillor Neal, Councillor Porter, Councillor Temperton and Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Councillors joining remotely, please turn on your microphone only and state that you're present when the Chief Executive calls your name, and anyone who does not respond will be recorded as giving their apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have been notified of 3 councillors who are joining remotely. Councillor Bidwell. Sorry, I've been notified of 3 councillors who are joining remotely. Councillor Bidwell. No, we'll record apologies for Councillor Bidwell. Councillor Musgore.
Present.
Councillor Mrs. Hamilton.
Present.
Okay, I think that's. Is there anybody else that's on the meeting remotely that I've not called? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief Executive. The full text for declarations of interest is set out on the agenda at item 2. If any councillor has a disclosable pecuniary interest or an affected interest to declare, please indicate by raising your hand and I will come to you in turn. Madam Deputy Mayor, has anyone joining remotely indicated that they have an interest?
No, they have not.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. No interests indicated. Okay. We now come to agenda item 3, which is the community governance review. Does any councillor have a question about the report? Okay, I don't see any questions in the room here. Madam Deputy Mayor, are there any questions from those joining remotely?
No one has indicated that they'd like to ask a question.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. If there are no questions, Councillor Birch, would you like to move the recommendation?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am pleased to move the recommendation at paragraph 2.1.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. Is that seconded?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's seconded. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Turrell. Does any councillor wish to speak? Yes, Councillor Birch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Local Government Boundary Commission reviewed Bracknell Forest Borough Council's electoral arrangements in 2019. The result of that was to reduce the number of borough councils to 41. They also made changes to the parish arrangements, and this meant we had to conduct a community governance review for each parish. A community governance review working group was formed, which I chaired. It was a cross-party working group, and it comprised myself, Councillor Nick Allen, Councillor Gareth Barnard, Councillor Ian Leake, Councillor Robert McLean, Councillor Mary Temperton, Councillor Thomas Parker and Councillor Chris Turrell. We were assisted throughout our deliberations by our electoral officers, Anne Moore and Phil Sadler. I'd like to thank all the members of the working group and I know the members of the working group would endorse my sincere thanks to Anne Moore and to Phil Sadler, whose guidance and advice were key in ensuring the somewhat complex process of the review was navigated successfully. Thanks very much. My thanks also to all those members in the parishes and the members of the public who responded to both stages of our consultation process. The report gives our recommendations and shows both stage 1 and stage 2 recommendations for both consultations. It has been important to demonstrate that the working group has had due regard to all inputs received and that the evidence presented has been properly considered, and I can assure members that is the case. Our draft final recommendations are presented for each parish and include ward name changes and the number of councillors for each ward, as well as a map of the ward boundaries. We have followed the advice from all members that we did not want to have single member wards. And I'm hoping that the LGBCE, the Boundary Commission, will recognise that desire. We must get our recommendations to the Boundary Commission by this Friday, hence the need for this special meeting. And we have considered carefully the needs of each community against the review guidance, and we are confident these recommendations will provide our residents with an electoral structure that will be effective and ensure they have the right representation structure on each of their parish councils. We should have the Boundary Commission's response before the full council in November, when their final deliberations will be put to that council meeting. As part of the process, we have also been looking at the siting of polling stations, very important in that process. So, with the amount of work that has been done and the complexity of the work that's been done, the report before you represents the very considerable and heartfelt deliberations of that working group, and I therefore commend all the recommendations to members tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Burge. I see Councillor Matic wishes to speak.
I lost my place. Can I say that on the Bracknell Town Council, on page 32, about the boundary, town boundary between Old Bracknell and Wild Ridings has been redrawn along Rectory Lane. It is only a very short place on one side. So one side of Rectory Lane is in Wild Ridings, which is the shop side. The other side, which is the community centre in Brackenhale and the Open Learning Centre, they're all still in Old Bracknell. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you for drawing our attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Matic. Thank you, Councillor Burge, for your response. Does any other councillor wish to speak? Yes, Councillor Durrell.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to second this. I think the work on the community governance review has been diligent, and I think the consultation has been extensive. That's important because wards are important to people and in the communities that they live, and they need to reflect those communities and how they all hang together. So I think a good piece of work has been done there, a thorough piece of work, and happy to support these recommendations going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Darrell. Councillor Birch, would you like to respond?
I don't think we've had anybody speak against, so therefore, Mr Mayor, I'm happy for the motion to be put.
Thank you, Councillor Birch. The recommendation, sorry, can I just, before we get to that, Madam Deputy Mayor, is there anyone online who wishes to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, but nobody has indicated they would.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. The recommendation is set out on the screen. Can all those present in the chamber please indicate by raising your hand if you support the recommendation? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. The motion is carried. I believe that we've had some other members join while the session was underway. Chief Executive?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I can just confirm that Councillor Bidwell is present, please.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Bidwell.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I now declare the meeting closed.